Tusikize rais wetu, si ndio? Kidogo tu. Kaeni chini ndio tusikie kenye Wajackoyah anatuambia. Situlie chini kidogo. Sawa. Asante. Guys. Let's sit down. Ndio tuweze kuendelea. I want to call, excuse me. Nataka niite our deputy president Jasina Wamai sasa tuitie rais. Rais atusomee manifesto, atuambie manifesto iko namna gani, si ndio?
Umeshindwa hata kukaa chini, umebambika. Mtasikiza kama umesimama. Haina ile roots part. Professor Wajackoyah, it is my humble duty as your deputy to ask you this question on behalf of Kenya. Wajackoyah, what you gonna do for your people?
Thank you very much, my Deputy President, Jasina Wamai. I also take this opportunity to thank your lovely husband for allowing you and for giving you this freedom to come and build your country, to come and develop your country, to come and look at what's necessary for young women like yourself or in your age brackets so that they can have hope, that they can move forward, and they can be emancipated from mental slavery. I thank you very much. Secondly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you, here. And I'd also like to thank the chairman of Roots Party, Mr. Musheru. I'd also like to thank the Meru group, the group that came from Meru, led by Mr. Yagnik. Please just raise and say. I'd also like to thank the group led by my friend Bilal, wherever you are. I take this opportunity to thank the reggae community, particularly the leaders of the reggae community. And before I give my speech, my short speech before we go to our 10 commandments, I would like to assure the reggae people that while I was practicing as a lawyer in the United Kingdom, before I moved to the United States, we had a case, and that case was a Rastafarian case which was taken to the courts by a Rastafarian movement who wanted recognition as ethnic minorities and recognition as their religion, as a religion of emancipation from mental slavery. When that case was taken over to the House of Lords decided in the other way around, and they said that Rastas were not old enough. They have never been there for 60 years, and therefore they were not qualified to be known as a religion. That in itself led to a lot of outcry in the United Kingdom, and that's why this issue of the Race Relations Act 1991 came about. I am with you. I'm a Rastafarian. My son, who plays football in the UK, is a Rastafarian. He's an engineer, and my household compelled me to go to Jamaica to buy a piece of land in Montego Bay, where I built a house for my children, meaning that wherever you are, if you look at the statistics of people who are in jail, the Rastafarian community, I would say, and I would like to thank you, as very, very few. I don't think whether they're over 10, apart from those who have been enlisted, arrested, harassed, taken in jail for possessing a source or a stem of marijuana, which informs me that the man who was arrested recently in Nyeri, that graduate from Egerton, from Moi University, who was only doing a deserving purpose to disengage from criminal activity, to engage himself from an economic activity, to have himself, because of unemployment, to heal himself through the herb. That man was arrested, and I saw it on television. I felt so bad the way the police officers were treating him like a criminal. I, having been a police officer myself before, could not treat someone like that. That was an inhuman and barbaric kind of degrading situation. Also look at the people who are arrested with 2 sacks of marijuana in northeastern province. Anyone who is actually arrested with marijuana, the police are fond of calling the media. I would like to take this opportunity to tell our media, the 4th estate, that whereas it's your duty to disseminate information, sometimes just be nationalistic and say, no, instead of taking so many pictures of this poor thing seated on the soil, being asked very relevant, stupid, and archaic questions, instead of being taken to the courts for the lawyers to do their job. The police now become the judges, the police now become the doctors, they become psychiatric experts to start harassing a young man sitting on the ground, asking very stupid questions. And I can assure you that if such cases were in the UK or US, after you have been given your rights to remain silent, there's no any other word that ought to be uttered. But the police in Kenya are misusing their legal authority, and that's why they need to be informed. By harassing people, calling in the media before proving somebody's innocence, and putting the whole family out there as a family of value. And that's why we are going to release. We're going to release all of them. We are going to decriminalize it, the way the United States and the federal government in the US has decriminalized marijuana for purposes of economic growth. I also take this opportunity also to thank the Somali community and our representative from Northeastern for having been very much robust. What he didn't tell you is that members of the Somali community are punished twice in this country. They are punished twice because, one, because they are Somalis, and secondly, whenever they go to take their identity card, they have to prove 4 times of being Kenyans than their fellow Kenyans in other parts of the world. That is going to end. That's going to end. And I can assure members of the Somali community that you are going nowhere. You are going to live in this country, and we are going to reward you by moving our capital city from here to Isiolo, so that you can also know issues of loyalty to the system, issues of following political leaders on political correctness, issues of clanism, issues of tribalism has to end henceforth. The world is hemp country. We are now producing and introducing a new tribe in Kenya known as the hemp tribe, where everyone will be proud of himself, everyone will be looking at each other, and they will be saying, we in Kenyanness, we are bound together by peaceful solution through the hemp, because it heals us, it brings us from mental slavery, and it also makes us strong in terms of economic earnings, so that we become #1 economic earners in the world, since we are the first country in the world to produce the most powerful president on earth, Barack Obama. And ladies and gentlemen, before I go ahead, we have received a lot of criticism from members of the clergy. It's my humble opportunity to appeal to them to read our manifesto first. Let them read our manifesto first. We don't have any problems with the clergy. We don't have any problems with the religion. We actually guarantee freedom of expression. But please do not abuse that by being very selective. Instead of praying for our souls, don't condemn. If you know that we have said something wrong, call us and say, please, can we have some kind of dialogue so that we can discuss this thing, so that we can have a common understanding. But you have no right to condemn what you're supposed to heal, to condemn the souls that you're supposed to pray for. Then if you're condemning this soul, then when we die, who will actually go to heaven? Do you condemn us? Or do you emancipate us from condemnation? Do you contaminate us? Or do you emancipate us from condemnation? Do you abuse us? Or do you heal us from the abuse? What image are you trying to portray? What image are you trying to portray as a man of God? Not all men of God are bad. Neither are we all bad. But when there is a problem, let us discuss it and have dialogue. And I can assure you that even if you go to Rome today, you go to Mecca today, you'll find out that religious purity is within the books of God. And to those that think that I've offended them, I'm willing to tell God today to forgive me. To forgive me so that we can have dialogue. But God, do not forgive me if you know that I was right. I'm asking you, God, not forgive me if you know that I was right. But if I was wrong, forgive me personally, not through another individual. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our 10 commandments or our manifesto, let me also appeal to you that we have many, many Kenyans in the diaspora. We have millions of Kenyans, or we have millions of shillings and pounds and dollars sent in by our fellow Kenyans who are in the diaspora, and nobody's thinking about them. Nobody's thinking about how to put up structures like what Malaysia has done, like what Philippines have done, so that we can actually be accountable to what we bring in and be proud of being Kenyans. We have so many Kenyans in the diaspora who are so much, who have contributed a lot in the diaspora. And when I say Kenyans, I'm talking of Kenyans of indigenous origin and Kenyans of Asian origin. Kenyans of indigenous origin and Kenyans of Asian origin who have gone out there and they have done so well in their migration theory. And they have made the world feel so good by contributing what they have in terms of brain drain. We now need brain gain. We need to gain from what they have been drained to bring that back home. And let us actually be the first government on earth, the first government in Africa, and the first government in Kenya to recognize the value of the Kenyans in the diaspora. Having myself stayed there for many years, where I had to be a mortuary attendant, where I had to clean the old people in old people's homes, where I had to be a grave digger, where I had to clean them red buses in UK, where I had to go through the cold. But I had only one agenda, to come back home and bring what I earned through hard work, through sweat, back in this country. When I came in this country, I can assure you for free, ladies and gentlemen, and those who are here, those who are coming in to label us, those who are using my name on social media to purport to be myself, writing things that are not right, I forgive them today, because they do not know what they are doing. Politics of this kind are very destructive politics. We have had our Excellency, His Excellency the President. We also have had His Excellency the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. We also have had the Deputy President, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, as people who have been, and I respect them, and I'll continue respecting them for the role they have played. I am not here to point at them because they are my colleagues. But one thing I have to say today is that let us have a common ground whereby we don't initiate that in our campaign by coming up with bloggers who purport to be us. What actually are we fighting for in this country? Are we not fighting for economic emancipation and economic freedoms so that we can stand to be counted as men of integrity? Or are we fighting to that in each other's names? Are we fighting here to point fingers at others? If you find us pointing a finger at any other presidential candidate without actually mentioning the wrongs that are being done to the people, then just ignore. Similarly, if you find some people writing things about us, people who are writing things about us, saying that we need to be taken here and there, just ignore. They are seeking some kind of audacity to be heard. We are not answering them, don't answer them. With these few words, ladies and gentlemen, may I again laud the young men and women who have come in today, who have sacrificed. Young men and women who have come in this place without asking for money. Young men and women who have come here today to sacrifice for their country. Young men and women who are sitting in this podium, who have come from Madare, who have come from Kangemi, who have come from Kibera and Kayole, on barefoot, without being given money, without being bussed in here, without having our men and women singing and dancing before others after the few coins that they have been paid. I can freely tell you that what I've seen here today should be what we should be doing every day. What I've seen here today should continue after the 9th of August. When we take over the government, we are going to inherit a very, very huge debt. Don't you dare be told, and let truth be told today. Some people are saying that in the first 100 days, they are going to do this, They are going to do that, as we are inheriting problems. We are inheriting deficit. We are inheriting financial disaster. The issue of happiness should not be there. Let us rejoin ourselves. Let's look into ourselves. Let's look at ourselves in the mirrors. What kind of government are we inheriting? We are inheriting a bankrupt economy. And for the first 100 days, not 100 days, 500 days, or let me say 6 months, or let me say probably 1 year, we are going to have to work very hard. It will be a period of tears. It will be a period of not ululation, not harmony, but a period of disaster. Because we shall be like, now, where do we go from here? Do we continue borrowing, or do we sacrifice to have what we have? I'm going to sacrifice my gold, the one that my daughter bought me when she passed her exam. I'll sacrifice this. We'll put it somewhere and melt it to cure the disasters of this country for the first 1 year as we grow him. We are also going to look at judiciary. We are also going to look at judiciary and shall ask ourselves, why were these laws made, and who made this law, and for what purpose? Were these laws made to injure and punish the poor, to have them last in poverty? Or were these laws made for the rich people, or to punish young people who have no employment, who have nowhere to go? When they see something like marijuana, to actually treat their emotions, they are arrested and beaten and thrown in jail. Is that what we want with the judiciary? Or do we want to have a new mechanism of judiciary so that people can participate in that judiciary to have proper judicial outcome? Or do we have to have this archaic law from Britain? These punitive laws that were brought in by the colonial masters. And we are told, this is the law, you have to follow it. Whose law is it? We have to introduce what we call subaltern laws, laws of the people. And the only way we can introduce laws of the people is to suspend the Constitution, to suspend part of that Constitution, to suspend the Constitution. When I say suspend the Constitution, the first people to attack me are those people in suits and ties, people who purport to have gone to school, people who purport to know that law is meant to be law. Tunafuata sheria, tunafuata sheria. Hiyo sheria mkifuata namna hivyo tunaungua. Ukienda nchi zingine watu wamesema pana, let us have alternative dispute mechanism. Ili mtu akiiba kuku ya mtu, tujue kwa nini aliiba hiyo kuku. Aliiba hiyo kuku ya mtu akiwa na njaa, ndiye achinjie watoto wake wakule, tusurvive. Ama unashikwa na polisi, huwezi kuulizwa kwa nini umeiba. Can we call the owner of the chicken and ask him, look in my eyes. If you are hungry like this man, and your children are sleeping hungry, and maybe has a wife who has given birth and there's nothing the wife can eat to maintain the child, and maybe he was afraid that if he asked you, he would chase him away. Would you really do this kind of thing? Therefore, we need reconciliation at all levels. We need reconciliation at all levels. We need to talk to each other. We need laws that harmonize relationships between people or the help tribe. We don't need now to call the police and the chief. Something like Chang'an. A child came to my home recently, a little boy, and he said, Dad, I want you to listen to me. Then I said, what is it? He said, I've passed my exam. My mom brews Chang'an. I can't go to school because the Chang'an that was brewed yesterday to be taken to Marach Estate in Busia, the chief came and threw it away. Therefore, I have no money to go to school. What would you do to such a kind of a child? Ladies and gentlemen, what will you do to such kind of child? What will you do to that chief who comes to pour that drink to deny this boy or this girl a chance? Answer me. Answer me. What will you do if you go home and you find that something very petty has led to someone being arrested and denied his life? What I did is I said, son, I'll take you to school. And my PA is here. Wambua, stand up. That's the guy who does everything that I do. I told him, find out where the school is. Of course, it was just next to me. And get fee for that kid to be paid for a year. On top of that, we also gave a stipend. And as I speak, there's also a young Maasai man in this room. Where's Choko? That young man, I met him when he was in Stare Boys. His socks were torn. It was at YWCA. And he came to me. And he's like, I am an orphan. That's why I'm in Stare. But I always thought that Stare Boys was for the best. I didn't know that it was for the orphans. Then I realized that his socks was torn. And I said, haven't they given you school you were? He said, no. The rest is up to him. He has already graduated with Bachelor of Commerce from Mount Kenya University. But then do we need to tell the world with whatever little that we do? Do we need to brag that we have done this and this and that? That's why we go wrong with political entities in this country. They do something small, they want cameras to follow them, so that they are seen to be doing what they have to do. Now, before I continue, let's now look at that. Our manifesto. I will start by saying, number one, I don't know whether you can hear me. If you have access, or if your eyes have access to the shadows on the ground and on the top of the room, our manifesto number one says we shall legalize weed. But I would like Dr. Gwada to come and stand near me, because that man is a blueprint of information that this country has refused to follow. This man has of recent advised a president in the neighboring country to start marijuana, and he has started it, though I will not name the president. Professor, if I go wrong, just pardon me and take over. But because of time, I'll go very fast. Number one, 1 acre of Bangi can earn you $78,000 or 8 million per harvest. Per harvest. A harvest takes only 6 months. Now, if you have to harvest, that is 16 months, you earn 16 million. Of course, it will come with the tax implications, so that you can raise money and revenue for the government to continue with what it ought to do. The whole of Nyeri county is 583,000 acres. This means that if we grew Bangi in Nyeri County, Nyeri residents will earn 45 billion US dollars or 4.6 trillion per harvest. Kenya today owes China, or the debt we have today is $10 trillion. Mengine unaweza kujazia. What happened? Is that where we've support? Where's number one? Where's number one? I thought we started with number one. Yes. And because Bangi is harvested twice a year, it means Nyeri residents will earn $92 billion or 9.2 trillion every year. This means if we grew Bangi for export, Nyeri is in 1 year, will earn the equivalent of Ethiopia's GDP. If we grew Bangi in Nyeri alone, as you see, each Kenyan could get a dividend check. In Nyeri, each Kenyan would get a dividend check of 200,000 Kenya shillings every year from the sale of Bangi. That's Nyeri only. That means that we shall be very happy with that amount just from one county. Semeni haleluya. Kila mtu atakuwa anafanya nini? Ana pesa yake. Utakuwa na bodaboda ya nini? Utauza miraa. Si miraa ikitoka una export tu na huko na pesa nyingine extra. Utakaa kwako ama utakaa kwako? Utajenga nyumba ya mabati ama ya tiles? Tuendelee. grew Bangi in Nyeri alone, we would build 3 expressways in each county in Kenya. 2 express in each county in Kenya. If we grew Bangi in Nyeri alone, Kenya could buy Bill Gates and Microsoft in just 2 years. But let's continue. Yes. If we grew Bangi in Nyeri alone, Kenya will have 10% of IMF total cash reserves. In short, we'll never have to borrow a single coin in future. Kenya will become the richest country in the world. Mount Kenya was made wealthy by 2 cash crops, coffee and tea. In fact, Kikuyus got their economic head start in 1923 when they were allowed to grow coffee and tea. Before 1923, it was illegal for any indigenous Kenyan to grow both crops. Bangi is our next cash crop. It grows widely in Mount Kenya. Question is, if we required the permission of Muzungus, who have now legalized Bangi, why should we legalize? We have punitive laws which were imposed on Kenyan Parliament through foreign aid, NACADA. Na wakati wametengeneza hiyo sheria, because wameambiwa msipotengeneza hii sheria tutawapatia mkopo, unaona wengine wanaenda kucheza hapo akisema I've now made the rule, I've now made the rule. I wish there was a mimic here. Wanaenda to rejuvenate, putting our men and women in jail for things that are not proper. Having punitive regulations in this country that are putting our country outside the circles of morality. That's why we should have morality and solidarity. Repeat after me, morality and solidarity.
Morality and solidarity.
That's Roots Party for you. But for the others, and repeat after me, is morality and is solidarity and immorality. Solidarity and immorality. That's what you see, and that's how I define our opponents, because they are in solidarity with immorality. They are telling us lies, package of lies, package of lies. They are not telling us how. We are telling you how. And that is the truth. It takes a man like Daktari here, who first of all started this crusade, went to the Senate twice, was thrown out, because the pharmaceutical companies that I'm opposed to, who make medicines, have got what we call the lobbying scheme. When they hear that Kenya wants to legalize Bangi, they will call in the ministers concerned. Can you come for a talk in Britain? Whatever monies they are given probably, and we know, and have figures, and trust me, I'll trash some of these opponents when they bring, you get them with bank accounts in Singapore. In Singapore, and I know who has money in Singapore and Dubai. In Singapore, so long as you can pay taxes on monies that you take there, that becomes legal. The wash that we know, the monies are taken to Singapore, they pay 15%, and then they bring it through Dubai to this country. Some of those opponents, let me tell you this, because I have the information, have staffed companies in Dubai to wash money. When the time for hanging comes, I will hang those ones when the laws are there. Tunataka kila mtu atuambie, including myself, ni pesa ngapi uko nayo? Hizi nyumba unaishi ulitoa wapi? Hii magari uko nayo umetoa wapi? Hii watoto wako kila wakati wakiwa wagonjwa naenda ng'ambo unapelekanga namna gani? Hii uongo unatudanganya kila siku unatudanganya kwa nini? It's up to you guys to ask. It's my humble opportunity to exercise. It's my humble opportunity to exercise your right to vote. To guard that vote, as Mr. Kanyi has said. Mr. Kanyi that you saw there is a world scientist. He has worked for NASA in the US. He's a statistician, very humble man. And probably that's why Justina chose him. Because if you look at Justina, umeona kama amechoka kwa uso. Umeona kama amechapa. So huyo mnaweza kumwamini na wasichana wenu. That's why alichukua kwa kama jamaa. Nafikiria hiyo ni mambo tutaongea baadaye. Number 2, snakes. Snakes. The Bible says that a snake, which they call a serpent, was a very brave animal. Inaendelea kusema kwamba hiyo ndio ilidanganya Adam, Eve. Na hiyo ni story zao, hataki kwenda in between because kuna semekana kwamba kulikuwa na matunda ilikuliwa huko. Na watu wengine wakakasirika, ndio kwa maana watu wakaanza kujiona uti. Like the kind of snake I'm talking about ni ile snake yenyewe original. Hata mimi nikiwaonyesha hivi journalists, hii yote ni majeraha ya python when I was a young boy. How it really squeezed me to swallow me when I was young. Thank God I'm still alive. So I know the dangers of the snake. But the good part of it, the good part of that snake I'm talking about, is that it's carrying something in it. It is carrying something in it that is very productive, that will give us $1 billion US per year. Na mimi nataka watu wachanuke tafadhali. Tumezoea ile lugha ambayo tunafundishwa kila siku for the last 50 years. Tukiambiwa kitu kama hiyo wengine wanakimbia, na wale bloggers wa ule mwingine ambao mmechukua jina langu kuongea on my behalf. Endeleeni tu, lakini your lives will soon be disapproved on the night when I take over as the president of this country. Wengine wanajiita Profesa Wajackoyah kwa Facebook. Ile kizungu anaandika haki ya Mungu ukisoma, unajijazia. We will rear snakes. Can I come back to my snakes, please? Allow me to go the way I am. Each venomous snake farmer will earn an average of $6,000 or $600,000 per vial antivenom. Kadogo tu unanyonga kidogo, kanatoka chui, kanaingia kwa chupa. Hapo peke yake is 600 harvest black mamba antivenom. A Kenyan farmer will take $5,300 per vial. Supposing you have 3 snakes. Na mtaonyeshwa kuvuga. Mtaonyeshwa how to keep them. You will be shown because the government will give you money from ganja to put a proper infrastructure. Here you are a ganja farmer. Na unaweka uchimani ya nyoka kule kwa ganja, ndio mtu asije kukuibia usiku. Alafu na harvest both sides. Will you not be happy? Will you not be happy? Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you that we have wealth. We have wealth in our country. We don't need to depend on these people anymore. You heard the Rastafarian saying here. They said something about Patricia Lumumba. They talked about Haile Selassie. They talked about freedom of emancipation from slavery. When we look around ourselves and we ask ourselves questions, for how long are we going to be dictated upon? For how long are we going to be unemployed? For how long are we going to be told lies? Kazi kwa vijana, alafu napewa wheelbarrow na kijiko. Umepewa hiyo, alafu naambiwa at bottom up ikienda juu na wheelbarrow. Na wewe umesoma kizungu, wewe umesoma kwa university, unaenda nyumbani, unaambiwa ati sisi tutakupanga, ati kina boda, kina mama. There will be no mama mboga in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa ni enough. There will be no wheelbarrows in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa ni enough. There will be no wheelbarrows in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa enough. There will be no lies. There will be no lies in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa na yake. There will be no theft in our government. Kila mtu atakuwa na pesa yake. Ukienda Greater Somalia, which hived itself from Somaliland, or let me say Somaliland Republic, kulikuwa na mambo mengi ya shifter na gorilla na nini, lakini sasa hizi ukienda huko, you can leave your money safe. You don't need to have a bank outside na unalala kwako. Lakini hapa mtu anakuibia, alafu anakuja kukuambia Wilbur. Mwingine anatoka huko, anakuambia I'll give you 6,000. What can 6,000 do to you? Surely. What can 6,000 do? And I'll give you 6,000. Nawe mwenyewe tuambie ile pesa uko nayo ulitoa wapi? Wewe tuambie kila siku your family ndio wanaenda bunge wanakuwa hii na come on Kenyans, wake up. My brother is here. He's not even a member of the Roots Party. Where is he? Hey, can you stand up? Yeah. That's my brother, anaitwa Mzito wa Rumba kwa small radio station kule Bungoma. Lakini yeye namtreat tu kama nyinyi. Hakuna special treatment hapa. Alikuwa anataka kusimama kura, just sit down. Nikamwambia it's your democratic right but not on my party. Because ukijaza mama yako, brother yako, nyanya yako, auntie yako, mnaenda bunge kufanya nini? Why can you give other people an opportunity? Why can you give a Rastaman an opportunity as a nominated member of parliament? Why can you give people who are down there opportunity to be who they are? Why must you be the one having everything? Ukiendesha gari ukienda mahali karibu na mtu mwingine ukiona nyumba to Otno and Maranga, yani hiyo nyumba ni ya nani? Unataka kujua mwenye hiyo nyumba kama amekuletea pesa. Justina is a very strict person here, and my Secretary General Adam also just stand around here to be seen. Hawa watu hawana mchezo. When it comes to nomination, ukija na meno ya paka watakwambia get out of this place. Thank you, Justina. Sisi nomination yetu ilikuwa kali sana. We did not want hooliganism. You'll never see Professor's brother or sister akiwa karibu na mimi. Brokers, that's what I'm talking about. There's no brokerage. All of you are my brothers and sisters. That's why. Mchina, nitakuja kwa Mchina baadaye. We will export dog meat. Wengine wameanza kusema tu ati wengine, there's nothing wrong kulala na mbwa yako. There's nothing wrong kutembea na mbwa yako. Dogs are medicine to us also. They are healing. But then we have got excess market of dogs in Lubao market in Kakamega. Where we have so many poor people. Where I come from, we have so many dogs. The dogs that were in Madare North, Wachina walikula wakamaliza. Unasikia tu kadogi kamefanywa kitu kamewekwa dawa kamepotea. But we shall export dog meat to China. We shall export hyena meat in China. Because Fisi, hatuhitaji Fisi katika Kenya hii. China anakulanga Fisi. Na tukichukua mimi nasikia 1000 Fisi 1000. Fisi 1000 wanaume wako na Makende 2000. Na mimi nasikia hiyo Makende ya Fisi ni dawa kwa China. Let's keep it the way it comes. Kwa hivyo Makende iko na bei mingi sana kushinda hata ganja. Kende moja ni karibu milioni 6. Kwa hivyo we shall export Makende ya Fisi, dog meat pamoja na Fisi. One kilogram of dog meat costs 6 times more than the price of a kilogram of goat meat. Kenya exports beef, goat and lamb to the Middle East, for instance, wherever it is. Kwa hivyo nimewaambia tena wacha nirudie hiyo point nikiemphasize. Nyama ya nyoka inaenda China. Wakishakula then tumelipa. Ngozi ya nyoka takuwa na industry hapa ya kutengeneza viatu, na kutengeneza kila kitu. This time we are the ones going to export snake skins. Hatutapeleka huko ndio tuuzie tena. Tuendelee. Number 4. Hapa nataka mnisikize vizuri. Hapa nataka mnisikize vizuri. Kuna mtu anaitwa Kemsa. Kuna mtu anaitwa Kimoror Dam. Kuna mtu anaitwa Kura. Kenya Road, sijui nini roads. Tunajua hizo contracts nani wamechukua na kagawanya. Family ngapi? 3 tunazijua. Niseme nisiseme? Haya. Tuna procurement issues na my sister here has a masters in procurement. Ikitokezea mahali kuna familia ngapi? 5 ambazo zimegawanya Kenya. Mimi niko na solution. Because hatuwezi kufanya hivi kila wakati mtu anatoa pesa. Anakuwa the most revered faithful, naenda kununua Mungu ndio akulinde na pesa za wizi. Mungu hatakubali mwizi aende amununue. Hata Yesu mwenyewe alikataa kununuliwa alipoonyeshwa ati in my kingdom hiyo yote ni yangu. Hii mikate iko hapa, kuna tudemu hapa, namna hii na namna ile, inama chini unipigie magoti. Yesu alimwambia huyo mtu alisema nini? Mnasikia hiyo ni yenu. Kwa hivyo hapa kumekuwa na watu they just take no discipline in our society, especially in those who are in social fabric, who are bound to bring social relationships within people. If you see somebody who is meant to cure you emotionally, psychologically, and bring you back to fold, taking stolen money without asking the source of that revenue, taking stolen money, buying himself a candle and enriching himself. The same way somebody tried to bring 200 million to me. Ati nichukue hiyo pesa ndio niende ni campaign kwa opponent yake, ndio opponent yake aanguke. Imagine what would have happened to all of you who believe in us. Ninunuliwe na pesa kidogo ndio sasa ile furaha mko nayo iende chini. Nitatembea Nairobi, simtaninyonga. Simtaninyonga. I am on the ballot to do that. We shall hang those people when we put legislation in place. When we suspend the constitution, part of what we are going to ask them is, can we revert to death penalty? Or can we hang them? Because in China, when you steal in China, they hang you. In Japan, when you suspect yourself to have stolen from the government, you commit suicide. In Britain and America and Germany, they take you to jail. But in Kenya, you go to parliament. That is why you see a lot of punitive laws from Nakada, punitive laws and proclamation from those who believe that they are near God, telling you, mnapotezwa na huyo. Because they know that you are going to seal the loopholes of corruption and the loopholes of free things, because you will have enough money, which will enable Kenyans to build their own churches and mosques. Because if you have the Bible or a Quran, you can directly pray to God. Personal relationship with God. Or you can hire a pastor to come and pray for you, right or wrong. But we shall not have thugs who will walk with the Bible and spit on your head and come and tell you that I can see there is a demon here. If they cannot remove the demon from themselves, how can they remove your demon? Those people who are casting the Rastafarians, those people who are casting other people, huyu ni shetani ashindwe. But he himself is Satan. What lazima ajiangalie? What lazima ambie watu ukweli? What lazima preach the right message to the Lord? What lazima tuangalie namna hiyo? Hamwezi kuja kulabel the people who want to emancipate you guys from chains of slavery and mental slavery. That now huyu ametumwa, huyu ni Satan. Wacha nikuwe Satan, but if you follow me, then we shall together go to heaven, if heaven is there. Hallelujah. We are going to write down 3 things. Number 1, ukiwa umepatikana na hatia, umeiba, kutakuwa na choices of kifo. Number A, sentence itakuwa hivi: how would you like to die? Number A, lethal injection. Number 2, being stoned. Number 3, being shot, firing squad. Or number 4, being hanged. Alafu there will be a caveat there that if you choose number 4, being hanged, then utatengenezewa ugali na chapati na kuku, ndio ukienda kufa huo umeshinda. Kwa hivyo we are going to have hemp. We are going to have a rope made out of hemp. Ile kikamata mara moja unakufa saa hiyo hiyo hiyo. Kweli rongo? If we kill about 14 of them, wengine wata. That's what has happened in China. Huko wezi kuiba. 2 weeks ago they hanged 2 mayors because of corruption. Lakini ile napenda sana ni ile ya Afghanistan. If you are a politician and you have stolen, your hanging method is different from a civil servant. Ukiwa politician, unawekwa sigara kwa mdomo hapo. Kwanza unavalishwa suti na tai, alafu wanafufunua hivi. Wanaweka kamba hapo, wanaweka huko juu. Majuu kabisa. Alafu wakishaweka hivyo, wanakuhakishia sigara, wanakuambia vuta kwanza ukisema mashetani yako. Then they hang you to forget about you for life so that people don't come and steal from us again. Nyonga mwizi. Nyonga mwizi. Nyonga hao. Nyonga hao. Amen. Aka kachuma kutoka Mombasa mpaka Naivasha. Ako kachuma na kaweka ndani ya meli. Nachukua tu Chinese tunaweka kwa hiyo meli na magunia 500 ya Bangi. Tunaambia nendeni kwenu. Why am I speaking like this? China is rotten. Wherever the Chinese go, there's a problem. Can I say it? When they went to Zambia, they took Lusaka International Airport. Gone. When they went to Uganda, they have taken Mutembei. Mutembei International Airport is under siege. But Museveni has done one thing, and Dr. Gott is here, who has worked for Museveni for years. I am sure, if you didn't advise him, I don't know. Museveni saw that Ugandans were going to lynch him, and do you know what he did? He called in the Israelis, and he gave them 150,000 acres to grow wheat. Kusema, fanyeni haraka, nilipa wale Mutembei isiende. Museveni has legalized weed as a result.